Welcome, Casselberry. It is now time to have a casual conversation for the beneficial good of our community. The show you are about to listen to is called What's Up, Casselberry? And now it is my absolute pleasure to introduce to you your hosts, Andy and Drew, along with producer Robin.
What's up, podcast listeners? It's Andy. It's Drew. We are back with episode number 114 of the What's Up, Casselberry podcast.
Drew, these just keep coming, don't they? It only feels like yesterday that we were recording last week's episode when, of course, we had my daughter Bethany, and just want to report to you and to Robin, who's here. Say, hey, Robin.
Hi, Robin.
Boom. There you go. That Bethany was really pleased with how the show came out, and she's got high standards, so she's pleased. I'm a happy host and a happy dad.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I brought Jalen up to Culver's a couple nights ago to get some ice cream, and we ran into Bethany, and I believe it must have been Monday night because she was talking about how excited she was to hear herself the next day. And I've heard some good feedback from citizens in the community that Bethany did a great job, and I agree, she did. She was poised, calm, cool, collected. She obviously gets those traits from her mother.
She does. But Drew, can I give you a little bit of parenting advice as your son grows up? I would encourage him to get a job at Culver's, because if he did, it's quite likely, as my daughter does, that when he gets off shift, he will bring some ice cream or curds home.
Ooh, amen.
Little parenting hack for you right there.
Don't let him work at some, I don't know, nasty.
We all know what you're thinking, but we appreciate you not saying it on air so we don't get sued by Taco Bell. Oh no, I did it.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I know you're pumped. I'm pumped to have producer Robin back. It's been a couple episodes. Robin, how are you? What's new in your world?
I'm well. I'm going to be a guest on a prestigious podcast, so that's new.
Yes, moving from the shadows to the spotlight, listeners. Today, our special guest is our very own producer, Robin, who's going to let us know everything we need to know about how awesome she is. So
and
look
then some.
forward to that.
I have a gripe with you, too.
Oh, no. What did Drew do now?
Well, first of all, you're going to make me follow up Bethany. Like, how can I don't even know how, like, that's setting the bar so high. And second of all, you're going to make me sit through many minutes of my own voice.
That is true. Listeners, this is our producer who edits and makes us sound better than we are every time. So she has to go back and listen to herself over and over. Maybe you could just, for fun, do, the chipmunk voice or throw in a random accent here or there. By the way, listener, if Robin, Andy, and I sound a little groggy, normally this is a Peel Behind the Onion. We record in the afternoons and it's sunny and beautiful out. Today we are recording. It's first thing in the morning and it's been heavily downpouring all night. It's just kind of gross. And so we're gonna push through though, because we got great.
Yeah, but you know what the advantage of that is, Drew? Robin kind of sounds a little bit like Delilah, maybe you guys are too young for that, when the radio, and she plays all the kind of like soft rock. And so Robin's like, hi, and now here's Celine Dion with
Is
My
she still
Heart
on
Will
the
Go
air?
On. Who?
Delilah. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't listen to the radio anymore.
She was on Magic 107.7 in this mark because she's like nationally syndicated. I know way too much about her for some reason. Okay, continue.
You need your own like little jingle, like instead of Delilah, it needs to be like Producer Robin.
I like that. Well, Producer Robin, you have the power to edit. You have the power to make this episode just as quality as you can. And I feel like we've got to have a nice transition to our next section. Andy,
we do. Drew, before you go there, can I just say, I do feel for Robin on that. I have this discipline in my life where after I preach on Sundays, I will listen to it back on Sunday night just so that I can get better as a communicator. But oh my goodness, it's like the worst hour of my week, Robin, because I'm like, oh, I should have said that. I can't believe I said that. Why did I say that like that? Oh, I sound terrible. So I do sympathize with you.
Robin, you are the backbone to this little podcast. One of the things that we love when you're on the air is that you will give a honest feedback to our dad jokes listeners. Andy and I are dads, so we have this segment dedicated to all dad jokes. I didn't say good dad jokes. I just said dad jokes. All right, we ready? Here we go. There's bad weather afoot as of this recording. This is, by the way, This is April Fool's Day. I don't know what is going to be coming down the pipe later on in the episode. You'll just have to wait, listener, to find out.
Oh, so can I tell you what my kids are doing before you get into these? Are kid jokes, right? So I get up early first in my house about 5 o'clock every morning. They'd removed all the cushions from the couch and hid them, right? So I was kind of pretty uncomfortable. And there's a little post that said April Fool's joke. I turned the light on and there's a birthday banner in our room that says, "It is your birthday." And I'm like, whose birthday is it today? Did I forget? And then I realized, it's April Fool's Day.
Nice. The advantage of having teenagers, right? They're thinking a little outside the
and then as I'm waking up, they come in and do the pinch punch first day of the month thing, and I got a bruised arm. And again, more joys of parenting. So
you're happy they're away at school now.
Yes.
Get some peace and quiet. All right, here we go. As the weather outside is frightful, I've got some weather-related dad jokes for you. Listener, here we go. Robin, how do weather reporters greet one another?
How?
With heat waves. With heat waves. All right. It's kind of foggy and overcast outside, but sometime soon, the foggy weather will go goodbye. And when it does, it won't be missed.
All right. I have two submissions, actually. One from respected school board member Karen Almond, who is a very important person in our community, but also has the funnies. Drew, Robin, why is Cinderella so bad at soccer?
Why?
Because she's always running from the ball.
Nice. I like that one. That's good.
So thank you, Karen. Duly noted. Okay, you want some Doug jokes? I got a ton of them. Like, Doug, get a life. You're sending me like 5 jokes a day.
Doug,
all right, let me see. All right, prosecutors, true story, are persecuting IKEA for evading over $5 million in taxes. Did you know this?
Oh, no, that's scary.
Yeah, it's kind of hard, though, because they're having a difficult time putting their case together. Okay. Police have recovered a set of stolen golf clubs and arrested one man, but they're still looking for the driver. Police are also on the lookout after a man had been breaking into farms and stealing cows. Fortunately, the farmer was able to give a description. They're looking for a male with a large mustache.
Didn't know where that one was going. I gotta admit.
This is, we're in a bit of an employment crisis right now, and a lot of jobs. And people think that being a waiter sometimes isn't a very respectable job. People think that being a waiter isn't very respectable job, but you know what? It puts food on the table.
Nice. There you go. The dad jokes of the week. My wife would not find that funny because she was a waiter all through high school and college. That was how she.
Okay, well maybe she'll find this one funny. All right, let me slide this one in. People often ask me how I smuggle chocolate into the cinema. Oh. Well, I have a few Twix up my sleeve.
There you go. That bonus dad joke of the week. Hope you like those, listeners. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Doug. Well, listeners, we have highlighted much regarding our local elementary school, our A-rated, amazing principal. We got Teacher of the Year, Lauren Johnson recently on the program. There's just a lot going on in our local school here at Casselberry Elementary, the Pandas. And we have a couple of ways in which you can be a support to the efforts going on there at the school. The first is something that Andy and I are directly involved in. We are having our annual Casselberry Chamber of Commerce kickball tournament. That's right. An adult kickball tournament will be held and kind of hosted by the Casselberry Chamber of Commerce. I'm one of the guys facilitating that event Saturday, April 23rd. So as of this recording, you still have time to put together a team. That's right. Saturday, April 23rd from 8:30 until noon. We'll have kickball teams from around the community. Andy, I know Church Together is putting a team together, correct?
We have already put our team together. In fact, I've been actively recruiting for a while now. We put some standards in place, some metrics to measure fitness and kickability, and we're ready to go. We're looking forward to playing against some other churches, I know, playing against the schools, and I know there's lots of local businesses have signed up. My team has always done poorly at this, but we're ready to address that. And we would welcome any competition from the community because it's a lot of fun and all the money raised goes to help good causes.
That's right. It's going right back into the local school, Casselberry Elementary, their food pantry, and making sure we have food for children in need. Andy, you said your team is, you're doing some recruiting. I'm assuming your role as a Orlando City chaplain is not coming into play. You're not going to have the Orlando City Lions players coming out, are you?
Well, in my efforts to win, there are no limits. So I did consider that. But then I also considered the cost and the implication if one of my professional soccer playing buddies injured himself playing kickball and was out for a while. That wouldn't make me very popular in any circles. So I think I'm going to stay away from that. And my team's going to be made up of old cloggers like me.
There you go. Hey, you got the wisdom on your side. Hey, just a final note.
Yeah, because it requires a lot of wisdom to kick a ball. Definitely an advantage.
Final note about that tournament on the 23rd at 8:30. It will be held at Wirz Park in Casselberry, WIRZ, Wirz Park. And if you would like to participate or sponsor or just learn more information, message me. Message us on the What's Up Casselberry podcast feeds, and I would love to get back to you personally and see how you can connect for that great event. Andy, we are also, as a podcast, along with producer Robin, supporting Casselberry Elementary in a different way. Do you want to talk about that way?
Yes. If you've ever been by our school and been by the retention pond that is fenced off, along that fence are all kinds of words of encouragement and banners from local businesses, local organizations that want to offer a little bit of encouragement to the students every day as they go. This is also a great way to get your business and company name out there. So once again, for the second year in a row, What's Up Casselberry is going to be a proud sponsor of our PTSA. And we love doing that because as a podcast, we're deeply committed to helping and adding value to our community. And there are a few better ways to do that than supporting our youngest generation. So we would invite you to join us as a sponsor at Casselberry Elementary School. All money goes towards the PTSA, who do some great things throughout the year to enhance the experience that our students have.
Thank you, Andy. We will be back with a conversation with producer Robin in just a minute after a short podcast break, including some mental health advice.
Casselberry, it's Dr. Chloe Carmichael, and thanks for spending the mental health moment here with me today. Today, I want to talk with you about relationship boundaries. In relationships, we can have people that we are super close to, like our spouse, our parents, our children, but there is such a thing as too close. In psychology, we call that enmeshment, where it's almost like your sense of identity becomes enmeshed together with the other person's sense of identity. That sounds like it could be nice to be super close, but one of the issues can be that you can start becoming really judgmental of the other person. So if you're really hard on yourself, you might suddenly find yourself being super hard on them. If you, for example, will be super hard on yourself if you're even 5 minutes late, you can suddenly start really riding your spouse, for exactly the same type of thing. The good news is that if you think you might be caught up in enmeshment, then you can get out of it pretty quickly by actually silently naming to yourself a few of the physical distinctions between you and the other person. So even something as simple as I'm 5'8", he's 6 feet tall, I have long hair, he has short hair, can actually on a very basic level remind your brain that you are physically separate people. So just like the word enmeshment kind of suggests a combining of boundaries, we can actually undo it by physically reminding ourselves of the difference. We can also actually tell the other person that we think we might be enmeshed with about the concept of enmeshment. Sometimes just talking about it and bringing it into our consciousness can help, especially if we frame it around saying, I think that this actually happened, that we got enmeshed because I feel so close to you, because I want to be so close to you. So we're not saying it as anything against the other person, but we're more just noticing that it happened out of our deep desire for closeness. Thanks for spending this mental health moment with me, Dr. Chloe Carmichael. If you like what you heard and are curious for more, you can check out my website for my book, which is nervousenergybook.com. That's nervousenergybook.com. Have a great day, Casselberry.
I want want to tell you about our friends at Full Circle Real Estate and Management. Lynn Brecken is a dear friend of Andy and I's, and Lynn has been involved in the Casselberry community for many years. Lynn serves on the board as the treasurer for the Chamber of Commerce here in Casselberry. And professionally, her and her team at Full Circle Real Estate and Management work with buyers, sellers, and investors. They offer a full range of management services. So if you're looking to buy a home, sell a home, or have them perhaps help you manage the sale or purchase of a home, please reach out to Lynn and her team. Their website is myfullcirclerealestate.com. You can email Lynn at lynn@myfullcirclerealestate.com or give them a call at 407-921-3763. Lynn is a great person and will work to do everything she can to help you. Check them out, Full Circle Real Estate and Management.
Listeners, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. We are super excited about this next conversation. We're super excited to bring it to you because most weeks you hear these dulcet, delicate, delightful tones from our producer, Robin, but they're just little quips and quotes. Now we have a full in-depth interview with said producer, Robin, so you can get to know what a truly wonderful person she is. Robin, you're already on the show, but welcome to your very first What's Up, Casselberry interview.
Yay, thank you. Thank you for having me because there was no one else.
That is not true. That is not true. You were top of the list, not bottom of the list. You are not
Cut that out, Robin. Cut that out.
Yeah. How dare you? What gives you the right?
Okay.
So, Robin, to start off our conversation, Drew often refers to you on our show as our Beyonce. And every time he says it, I have no idea what he means. Why does he say that?
Well, to be honest, I forgot the original reason why. I'm just going to assume that he is platonically obsessed with me because I am clearly amazing and there's no explanation needed.
That would make sense because he has the same feelings towards Beyonce too.
Exactly.
Robin, you're stylish. You always dress to the nines. You're confident when you walk into a room. I also said it because our favorite episode listener of all three of us is The Office, as you know, if you've been listening for a while. And Michael Scott always says that I am Beyonce always. And I want to say, Robin, you quoted that about yourself.
I probably did. I'm very humble, and I hope that comes across.
It does. But thanks for telling us you're humble. People who tell us they're humble are always humble. So that's good.
So next question, Robin, if you were to write a book about yourself, would it be called Robin, Humility at Work? No, in all seriousness, tell us about a little bit about yourself and kind of what chapter you're in your life.
Well, I think I'm at the point where the page is turning right where I lifted the page and it's about to flip.
That's exciting.
Oh, I just came up with that. I would like the next chapter to be called Downtown Living.
Oh, a little bit of Petula Clark.
Who is that? Sure.
Oh, you guys, you're so young. Downtown. Da, 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 da,
Okay, yeah, exactly. To me, downtown something is just like you are successful, you have made it.
Well, that's you, Robin. Once you joined our podcast, everything has been on the up and up since then. So
clearly.
All right, final icebreaker question. If you were to work in a zoo, we know that you got a little bit of the Dr. Dolittle about you. Which animal would you most like to work with?
An alligator.
Alligator. And can we ask why?
Of course. Alligators are dinosaurs. You can't tell me that's not a dinosaur. They're unique. They're amazing. All reptiles are amazing. But alligator, I don't know. I just remember in third grade, I went to the Sanford Zoo and there was just alligators that just looked so sad. And if they can express emotion like that, they must be complex creatures.
Oh, they're complex, all right. So if alligators were dinosaurs, do you think there was an alligator that flew, that had wings that they evolved out of? That would be kind of scary, wouldn't it?
Probably. If you ever look at like an alligator foot and like a chicken's foot and like what they think dinosaurs' feet look like there's some correlation. This is such exciting stuff, I know.
Only the best for our dear listeners, Robin.
You're going to regret asking me.
Robin, you are a woman of many talents. You have many things that you're interested in. We'll talk more about reptiles in just a minute. But most people that listen to our podcast know you as our producer, but there's a lot more to you. Tell us about what you do for work when you're not editing, but also just what you maybe do in some of your free time as well.
In my free time, I like to hang out with my friends. I like to roller skate. I like to reorganize my apartment because I'm never satisfied with how it is in one position, like for too long. And I'm just always thinking of different things to do, I guess. Even as something like different ways to edit podcasts, different ways to do the jobs I do in general.
I want to jump on what you said, Robin, about your apartment. That was something that I was extremely interested in your comments on. Won't give everything away, but you live near what we would call downtown Casselberry, and apartment living being right near our booming metropolis of Casselberry. Tell us about that experience. What's it like when there's people coming out there was a jazz fest recently, and there's monthly events, all kinds of cool stuff at Lake Concord and in and around. You're across the street from Target and other places. What's it like living in downtown Casselberry?
I would say that's the best place to live in Casselberry because there's so much going on. There's once a month, there's always an event at Lake Concord, and they have it where like you barely hear it. You know, I'm so close to it that you think you'd hear all the noise, but you like, it's only if the wind blows a certain way, and it's always well attended. The parking lot in front of my complex is always full, and you just see people walking in and out. And I don't know, that to me is like real downtown living. And
yeah, awesome. That's great.
Target is, without sounding like sacrilegious, is probably my second church.
That's funny. I don't think you're alone in that. There are many who go worship at the altar of the great small g God Target. Rob, you didn't share with us that you have two jobs. You work with Miss Janine, who was a former podcast guest as well, and you also work at Ascension Lutheran Church. One in the kind of professional tech field. The other is more of a ministry servant's role. Very different roles. Tell us about what both of those jobs do to let you know that you make a difference and you're doing something significant.
Well, in the tech field, I feel like this is going to sound like it's all about me, but while the pastor is handling the important stuff of like being pastor and preaching, it's kind of, you're the person behind the scenes, making sure they can hear the pastor, that you can see the pastor, all these little details that I feel like, you know, before COVID even and before technology, really, it was just like the little things most people don't think about to make a church service work. Even live streaming apart, there's you know, what is the pastor going to say? I come from a very liturgical church, so there's more to than just preaching. It's easy to get caught up in the little details and lose the focus of why we're all doing it, because you're like, oh, something's not working, so I'm going to fixate on this problem instead of getting out of church what you're supposed to get out of, if that makes sense. I feel like it twisted the question a different way.
That's a good answer. I think that what you hit on is, and a lot of people are experiencing this. I imagine several of our listeners that are working remotely, doing IT or technical type of jobs. There's something to be said for the value of being able to work on a project and see it come to fruition, accomplish it on your own behind the scenes. And then there's also like Andy and I and others that are maybe more managers of people or engage with people on a regular basis. We have those responsibilities. And so in a sense, you have kind of a bit of both, which is kind of cool.
Changing gears pretty radically, you have a pet snake, and we have questions. Mm-hmm. The snake has actually been on the show before. First question is, why? The second question, what would you tell Drew if you were trying to convince him to buy a snake?
Well, first of all, why? Why not? Snakes are cool, just like alligators. They're very unappreciated. Honestly, I would tell someone that snakes can be low maintenance pets, but they're also not easy. Florida, we're lucky that we have a human environment. That's why we have such a big Burmese python problem in the Everglades, because it's perfect for them, even though they're not a native species. But in your house, most snakes need humidity levels a certain way. They need areas with coolness. So there's a lot that goes into owning a snake. And obviously, without being graphic, we all know what snakes eat, I'm sure.
Cheerios?
Yes, fuzzy Cheerios. And so you have to be really committed to their care. And also, they live a long time. My snake is already 18 years old.
That's a positive. Robin, you gave about 4 negatives before you gave a positive. What's your snake's name, and what do you enjoy the most about it, him or her?
His name is Shady, named after the poet Slim Shady.
That's great.
Had him since I was 16, and I've just had this connection with him. I mean, he's obviously not like a cat where he will cuddle with you or acknowledge your existence usually, but I don't know. He's very tame.
I know people like that.
He's very tame, and he's just a unique pet, and I would not trade anything in the world for him.
I got to say, this is a first for the podcast, us learning about snake ownership. So you have a very special...
And probably a last as well, Drew.
Probably. Well, hey, since the beginning, listeners, you can tell the three of us just really enjoy being together, enjoy talking, enjoy hearing from others, and being a part of this podcast team. And Robin, truly, we say it all the time, but we mean it. The podcast would definitely not be where we are, or frankly, probably anywhere without you. What have you learned about making a good podcast through the last couple of years together?
Definitely choose your guests wisely. Just kidding. I would say,
and choose your hosts wisely too, probably.
Yeah. I would say, just similar to like the question about running tech at church, there's so many pieces that you don't even realize. Even like a small podcast like ours, maybe something that is like 30-40 minutes of recording that I have to start with can actually take like 2 hours to get to what it is on Tuesday when it's released. Not saying it has to, but you take out every pause, you take out every breath. That's like, you take out Andy. You take out every repeated word.
Sorry for breathing, Robin.
Exactly. Well, there's a question that says, what would you hope we didn't do? I was going to say breathing. Just kidding. There's just so many little pieces that you can also fixate on and kind of lose the purpose of the podcast if you let yourself get wrapped up in it. But I've also learned that I really enjoy audio things in general.
Let's explore that a little bit, because I realize that the stuff that Drew and I do on a regular basis, just in our communication styles, that probably creates more work for you. What do you wish we wouldn't do on the podcast?
Again, breathe. Just kidding. Honestly, there's nothing I would say that because you have to breathe, and obviously you have to speak. And even myself, as you can tell, you two can tell, no one else will hear it this way, but how I'm, say a lot of filler words like and like and pause. So there's so many things that I feel like people just naturally do, even talking, that when you're having a regular conversation face to face, it's not as noticeable. But when you're literally, especially the person editing, taking the time and you're hearing it over and over again, you're like, wow, all people, even the most distinguished guests that we've had, there's those are natural things.
That's a really good comment and thought. And Andy, you were talking earlier about going back and re-listening to yourself, and it's incredible, because you don't think of yourself as, every time I listen to this podcast, I think I didn't talk that slow, or I didn't make those filler word comments. But yes, I did. They're on there. They're recorded. So
I know about myself, one of the things that I say a lot is right. So if I'm not getting feedback, I'll say right. That's one of my filler words. Have you noticed that, Robin?
I have, and I take a lot of rights out.
That's wrong.
I've also learned that you don't want to take every single one out, because it also makes the person sound almost unnatural. Even like NPR podcasts or radio shows, you can tell they still leave some word, like, they'll still leave the person stuttering or extra words in.
I like it. If we could be like NPR.
We're almost there.
Life goals, hashtag.
Robin, you've created already part one of kind of our best of various episodes, which was an awesome episode. You can go back and listen and get little snippets from different guests that we've had on. Do you have a particular favorite guest or a favorite conversation? And what did you enjoy about that particular guest, or about just good guests in general?
Probably my all-time favorite is Dr. Chloe. Everything she was talking about was very fascinating. And I guess a good guest is just not so much how they speak, because obviously through editing, can all sound better than we did. But I think it's what they're talking about is most, and obviously that would be different for everybody. So somebody who's not interested in psychology or the stuff Dr. Chloe talks about, she would not be their favorite guest. Kind of all subject matter, I think, is what makes the guest more interesting or the subject matter we cover on this podcast being so vast and varied is what makes the show in general good.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. I mean, I think the only thing that our guests have in common is a connection with Casselberry, right? And we're very intentional about hitting different topics that will appeal to different people. We don't expect that every week, everybody loves the guest, right? And connects with them, because it doesn't work like that. We're all different, and we live in a diverse and robust community. And so, yeah, thanks for that insight. All right, Robin, as you know better than we do, time is up against us. Just a couple of quick questions. The penultimate question, we've had as we said, a wide variety of guests on the show, over 114 as of time of recording. What have you learned about our community through your work on this podcast?
I learned that Casselberry is kind of like a big city in a small city's body, if that makes sense.
That's very wise.
Yes, we have a lot of features. Like, we have a lot of events that I think we have more events than Orlando does. Just have so much going on, but we still have that small town feel where I could almost walk to every corner of Casselberry if I want to.
That feels like the best of both worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Robin, as we wrap up this conversation, how can people find out more about you? How can they connect with you?
You could just visit our very own whatsupcasselberry.com website, and there's a contact page there, and you can learn all about all of us.
There you go. That was a very humble answer.
Thank you.
Conversation round, always pointing to someone else than yourself. Robin, thank you so much for being our guest today. And we've said it 1,000 times, and we need to say it 10,000 more. Thank you for all you do to make us sound better and for this podcast to work.
All right, Robin, thank you so much. You have provided some inspiration. By the way, you're just a funny person. Like, it's really great to talk to you. We really, truly, Andy and I joke, we never know what you're going to contribute and add and throw in, but it's always humorous. It's always great and meaningful. So I'm going to try to wrap up another episode, listener, with some words of inspiration. And this quote is from George Lorimer. And here is the quote for you to think about. You've got to get up every morning with determination if you're going to go to bed with satisfaction. You've got to get up every morning with determination if you're going to go to bed with satisfaction. And I'm telling you what, I don't get no satisfaction if I don't wake up each morning with determination. But I think what that quote signifies to me is that goal setting and planning your day with purpose is really significant. Like today, for example, is Friday, and Friday is my day off. And really, it's my primary day to be with Jalen and Becky. And so I think about what do we want to do on Fridays? What do we want to accomplish on this given day? For every day, there is and needs to be purpose in our lives. And so, listener, if you're kind of floating through the day, maybe you're just sort of feeling like, man, every day feels the same, or every day just seems overwhelming. I can't seem to get ahead or get a break. I would encourage you to ponder through this quote from George Lorimer. Think about each morning, getting up, making a to-do list, focusing with determined effort. What am I going to accomplish today? So that when you get to the end of the day, you can go to bed with satisfaction. Thank you, George.
Thanks, Drew, for that wisdom. Listener, thank you to you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for spending your time with us today. We hope it's been valuable, fun, and engaging for you. Again, huge thanks to producer Robin, who you know a little bit better now because of the things that she shared with you. This podcast can be found on all podcast networks, all good ones anyway. You can follow us at website, as Drew said, whatsupcasselberry.com, and we're also on Facebook and Instagram under the name @whatsupcasselberry. If you can rate us and review us, we'd appreciate us. That would help us climb the charts and help other people find us and help us fulfill our mission. Again, thanks for listening, and we look forward to chatting with you next week.